So Mazda has launched a new Mazda 6, and it's based upon something called Kodo design. So rather than me explain what Kodo design is, I'm going to leave it up to Peter Birtwhistle, Chief Designer for Mazda Motors in Europe.
Kodo, Soul of Motion, is the name of Mazda's new design language and marks the latest evolution of Mazda's unique style, a style that represents motion in its ultimate form. Mazda first unveiled its Kodo design back in 2010 in the form of a striking four-door sports coupe concept called the Shinari. Then, in 2012 at Geneva, we turned the spotlight on the Takiri, a truly dynamic mid-sized sedan concept and the basis for the all-new Mazda 6. As I mentioned, Kodo symbolizes motion. Nature has many forms of dynamic motion, the power and elegance of a leaping cheetah or sprinting racehorse. Now it's that strength and agility that inspired the designers of the new Mazda 6, and that's what Kodo is all about.
So welcome to Lisbon and the launch of the Mazda 6. This is a 2.2 litre diesel manual. It is the estate version of it because the liftback is now gone. There is only a saloon and the tourer, as they call it. It is the sports, the SE version, the kind of sports one, mid-range one as well, and it's in manual. So we're going to have a little spin around Lisbon and see what it's like. So the new Mazda 6 is bigger. It's big. They've made it bigger in every direction, according to the press conference last night. But at the same time, they've dropped out one of the models, so they're not going to have a liftback version anymore. There is a saloon and tourer only. Engines lineup hasn't really changed either, a 2.2 litre diesel, and despite everyone else, every other manufacturer going and getting smaller, so you get 1.6s and 1.4s and whatever other size engine there is, Mazda have done the opposite direction. They've gone to 2.2 and they're sticking to it as well. And the reason that Mazda is able to stick with the big engines is something called Sky Active. Sky Active allows Mazda to be able to lighten everything, chassis, body, engine, but still keep that kind of driver feel about the car. Great acceleration from the 2.2, very smooth. I think this one is 150 brake horsepower. There will be 2 horsepower versions coming to Ireland. And then there'll be a 2 litre petrol as well, which is the other one. Obviously, it's the big executive saloon, so you're probably going to be plumping for the diesel one. Chances are all of the sales will be in diesel. But don't discount petrol too quickly because it's actually just in tax band B for a 2 litre petrol. That's pretty good. Now, driving, as they put in the parlance of marketing, dynamics. The car is actually very, very well set up. The chassis is responsive. It's very flat in the corners. And the steering is nicely weighted no matter which way you seem to point it. It does handle like a car that's meant to be, well, smaller and more sporty, which is typical of Mazda, to kind of go back to the MX-5 idea and keep the car grounded as a good driver's car, as well as being a decent car just to have and own. Room in the back, this is an estate, you expect tons of room in the back. There's actually plenty of room behind the seats for passengers. And the boot is huge. It has cunning sort of fold-over shopping bag hooks, which is kind of cool. They stay out of the way. You can flip down the seats like you used to be able to before. You just pull a hand in the boot and the seat drops down, which is quite useful. The saloon is the very same. My preference of a lot of them would be probably this one. I drove an Auto yesterday, which is really, really smooth. Gearbox very similar to the DSG in smoothness, but a little bit more kind of, you can feel the gear changes, put it that way. This manual, this is probably the spec I would go for. This is an SE one, so it's mid-range. This is a manual box, 2.2 litre diesel engine, and in tourer version, I'd probably take that for an actual car to buy. We were on some kind of an island, and we've been driving along for ages and seen nobody, and we thought it was like a zombie apocalypse. This will be launched in Ireland in like 2 weeks, where we get an Irish drive as well, and I'm booked in for a full test a few weeks after that, so it won't take very long before we actually see it in Ireland on the road. It's already there, believe it or not. It is actually already in Ireland. We just haven't seen them out on the road yet. It'll be in your dealership very, very soon. Prices starting for the diesel at 31 grand, which will be the seller one. And that's a sport one, so you get all the kit that you see in this video, but the one above that, which is the, I can't remember the title for it, it's SE something, That one comes with 19-inch alloys, leather interior, and Bose surround sound. Really, the only difference between the whole lot of them. Other than that, you get all the spec that's in this in the mid-range one. It's the one to buy. The petrol one is 27 something, a little over 27 grand for a 2-litre petrol, same spec as this. So yes, thumbs up for the Mazda 6. I'm anxious to get it on the road in Ireland. Obviously, I want to see how it drives there too. Most important, because the roads are very different. These are very flat out here in Portugal. And I'm on the wrong side of the car and on the wrong side of the road. So, you know, sorry Portuguese people, but I drive on the right side of the road. So from Lisbon, enjoy yourself. See you on the far side.